I started my first business in 1970, and I just can't tell you what it was like. It was nothing like now. No fireflies, no women's events. I can remember one business network where I was the only woman plus the secretary of the organisation and 75 men. So things have changed for the better, I may add. So when I started my first business, I didn't have any skills with regards to managing the business. I'd been a trainer, a coach, empower of women for my early years. But I discovered something amazing, mentoring. And it just saved my life. It enabled me over 10 years to create 5 businesses in completely different sectors. And I may add, some of them I knew nothing about. So how did that work? My first business was a healthcare recruitment company. And again, I'd never worked in healthcare. I found an amazing lady. She was a business consultant, but she was also a nurse. And she mentored me for 2 years, and I created my first business. $250,000 turnover in 6 months. It was incredible. I employed 1,500 people in the recruitment company. And all that because of a mentor. And it was just amazing. She taught me so much. But time moves on. Mentoring doesn't last forever. And then I wanted another business. I thought about a property management company. This time, I found a man who was a mentor. I think he was a little bit concerned about my arrangements. But once he settled down, he did a really good job of teaching me about quality and finance. I think finance was my weakness in business. So I then found myself another lady who was an accountant. And she was amazing. And it is a two-way relationship because although she was a clever lady and knew about financial management, she was terrified of selling, which I really found easy. So I went out and got her a lot of customers in return. So mentorship has got so many benefits: a fresh perspective, somebody to help you with the daily challenges of either your career or starting your own business. And where do you find these mentors? Well, look around you. You couldn't have a better choice of mentors in this room. And if anyone's struggling, just get in touch with me. I mentor for Business Wales, and it's free. All it'll cost you is a cup of coffee. After 10 years of mentoring and enabling myself to move on and become a mentor myself, I soon found out that mentoring others, having mentees, was just as rewarding as being mentored. They were in different sectors of business which I knew nothing about. One lady, she came in the room, very glamorous young girl, she was about 18, and she wanted to start a garage fixing motorbikes. Just didn't look right, you know, she looked like something out of a fashion magazine. And she was so passionate about motorbikes that in 2 hours she taught me how to strip one. I haven't actually used those skills yet, but you never know. I had another lady who, she was very, very shy, and again, I was able to help her with her marketing. So definitely this two-way relationship. One of my mentors was a coach, and she said to me, before you can do anything, Marianne, before you can develop, you really need to understand yourself. Well, yes, I knew my strengths and weaknesses, but she explained to me, no, you need to know about your emotions. They're going to get in the way. And boy, did they get in the way of my business. My emotions gave me a lot of trouble. I found out at an early age that I was people-led, not task-led. And I'd get upset if one of my employees was upset. And I soon learned to put that right. I also trained as well, and she told me, get some behavioural sciences behind you. And for those of you not sure what that means, I've got 6 diplomas in the behavioural sciences. Emotional intelligence, getting your emotions to work for you, not against you. Neuro-linguistic programming, which helps you with these habitual programs that you have in your head, which you don't always want. Psycho-cybernetics, about picturing what you want and actually achieving it. So I developed myself. And when I say to you, get to know yourself, I really mean get to know yourself. I discovered I needed recognition. You know, if I cleaned the bathroom in the house, I expected my mother to get a brass band out, you know. But nobody did. So I learned how to give myself recognition. I knew how to spoil myself, maybe with a new dress. I had a friend who collected China pigs, and she said to me one day, well, I asked her, you know, what are all these China pigs about? You've got big ones, little ones, small ones. Well, she said, every time a man hurts my feelings, I buy a pig. She said, how bad they are to me depends on the size of pig. I thought this was brilliant. I didn't do pigs, but I bought hats or jewellery or clothes to give myself lots of rewards for the work I did. Your mentor will need to know how well they've done. So you may need to work out arrangements of giving feedback, that kind of thing. There were times when I went into meetings and it was awful. When you lack confidence and worst of all, self-belief in yourself, you need somebody like this mentor. She was so sharp. She was a Brahmin Indian lady that frightened the life out of just about everybody in a room. And she had this amazing assertive communication. Assertive communication is direct. In other words, do I look nice in this dress? No. And that's the end. And that is exactly how she used to speak to me. I said to her, but I don't want to get up on stage because I dropped my H's. And she passed me a basket and she said, just catch them in there. Yeah. So lots of different mentors. When I told my parents that I was going to start a business, my father was very kind. He lent me £1,000 and I thought, oh, that'll go a long way. But my mother, she gave me a chair with one leg off. She said, this is broken, it might be useful in the office. I think she thought it was a phase, you know, that I was going through, and not the 5 businesses that I eventually opened, healthcare recruitment. My mentor for that was amazing. Being a nurse, she taught me everything. Property management and a marketing consultancy. I'm actually not finished with mentoring because I'm looking for somebody who works in the charity sector, because I've also got a not-for-profit charity. So mentoring was a great help to me, and after 10 years I became a mentor with Business Wales and various other bodies. I highly recommend that. If you've got a lot of experience, use it. The service is free, might have to buy a coffee, and Business Wales gave me all sorts of mentees, fascinating. My lady that could strip a motorbike. I had another lady that was a consultant for neurodiversity. Now there was a new word on the marketplace, and she taught me so much about diversity, which I'm extremely grateful. So being a mentor myself gave me another set of skills, which enabled me to finish off and start my last business. Not finished with it yet. I don't know if there's going to be a 6th, but I definitely am enjoying this charity work. So what else did I get from mentoring? One of my mentors was a coach that empowered women, and she spotted straight away that the negative comments I had when I started were bothering me. My family got together, my auntie, and they held a meeting about my first business. And my auntie said, we've decided that you've risen above your station in life. Does anyone know what that means? Because I'm certainly still thinking, I'm not sure what they meant by that. And the other one was, what did my best friend say to me? Marianne, you'll coast along in life and get nowhere. What kind of friend is that? And I love to be positive about everything. I really do. And I took that word coast, changed it. Yes, a bit of poetic license because I got the C as a K. And I brought the word with me today to show you the mentoring process that I'm hoping that today you consider either mentoring somebody or being mentored. So what is coast? K is to know yourself. And I've given you an example. You'll know yourself a lot better if you get some mentors who will be honest with you and give you proper answers and have a different look at you in a different light. The next thing is to obtain a mentor. Not so difficult. They're all in here today, yeah, including me, if anyone needs help. Then you've got to agree some objectives, and please, please write them down. Formalize them, don't verbalize them. You'll find that in business is a very good policy, because writing it down means it's going to happen. Then you need to set some measurements out. Yeah? When you're going to meet, how you're going to meet, what length of time you're going to work together, how often you're going to work together. And finally, T, this is my word, coast, tackle your new objectives. In other words, reanalyze yourself, work out what you need, and find yourself another mentor. So before I finish, I hope I've left you with the fact that I had £1 million business. I eventually sold that business, by the way, for several million. And I've still got 3 other businesses. I've sold another one, all because of other people, not because of me. I didn't have the skills to do it. So find yourself a mentor if you want to start your own business, if you want to develop your career. And when you do feel as if you've got enough experience, knowledge, and the energy and passion for it, mentor some of these other amazing women and give them the empowerment they need to go forward. Thank you.